Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. This is the very first theory session for chemical kinetics. So this is just an introductory session to chemical kinetics, wherein we'll discuss about what is this chemical kinetics related to, also about the different types of chemical reactions, that is the instantaneous reaction, the fast reaction, the moderate reaction, and so on and so forth. Right? We'll also discuss about the rate of reaction. So let's start our session here. Now we have already studied in thermodynamics that the reaction which is accompanied with the decrease in free energy, right, which is with the decrease in the free energy, is spontaneous reaction. What is free energy? Free energy is the amount of energy available for doing work. So this is indicated by delta G, that is the Gibbs free energy it is called as, and it is represented by delta G, and it is the amount of energy available for doing useful work. So the reactions which are accompanied with the decrease in free energy are what? Are spontaneous reactions. That is, they take place of their own. Say, a simple process by which I can explain spontaneity is the flow of water. The water flows from uphill to down to the surface. Now this is what? This is spontaneous. It doesn't require energy for it. It is flowing under the influence of gravitational force. But if I have to lift water up, say from the ground level to up, I'll need some energy. So we need some pumps which pump water up, right, which use electrical energy. So this is what? It is a non-spontaneous process. So we can say that all the natural processes are spontaneous. So this is about the process. But what about a chemical reaction? A reaction which proceeds with the decrease in free energy is a spontaneous reaction. So there can be n number of reactions which are spontaneous. But what about their rate of reaction? What about the speed of reaction? Is it that all the reactions proceed with the same speed? No, some are slow, some are fast. Again, that speed depends on the type of bonds present in the reactant. And also the amount of reactant. So there are various factors which govern this speed of reaction. Now chemical kinetics. Chemical kinetics is a branch of physical chemistry which deals with the study of rate of reaction. It is study actually. Study of rate of reaction, effect of various variables on the rate of reaction. What are these variables? Temperature, concentration, surface area, the presence of catalyst, the nature of reactants, or exposure to radiation. So these are all variables. Its mechanism and the stepwise changes reactants undergo in their conversion to products. Now here this word kinetics. Kinetics is derived from the Greek word kinesis, meaning movement. Now chemical kinetics is the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of rate of reaction and effect of various variables on the rate of reaction. So we'll be discussing about the rate of reaction in this topic. How the rate law is expressed, what all are the types of reactions. You must have heard about the zero order reaction, first order reaction, second order reaction. Now what are these? How do they proceed? What is the molecularity of the reaction? So we'll be dealing with all these factors in this topic. What is a rate of reaction? Say a reaction can be represented by this general equation, that is reactants to products. Now what is happening during the course of reaction? Say if I'm taking an example over here of HCl formation simply, that is H2 plus Cl2 forms what? Twice of HCl. Now here what are the reactants? Hydrogen and chlorine, these are the reactants. And hydrochloric acid is the product. Now during the course of reaction, what is happening? The concentration of reactants is decreasing because reactants are getting used up. And product or the products are formed. So whose concentration will be decreasing? The concentration of reactants will be decreasing and products will be increasing. So how can we monitor the rate of reaction? Say the decrease in concentration of reactants with time or the increase in concentration of products. So that will be the rate of the reaction. How a rate of reaction can be defined? What I have said just now? Rate can be determined by either studying the decrease in concentration of reactants or increase in concentration of products. Now how rate of the reaction can be defined? The rate of reaction is defined as the rate at which the concentration of reactant decreases, or alternatively the rate at which the concentration of product increases. It's the rate actually. That is a change in concentration per unit time. So a change in concentration of reactant, that is the molar concentration per unit time. Delta, this tells the change. That is, it is R2 minus R1 by T2 minus T1. Now what is this R2 and R1? This is the constant, this stands for the concentration of reactant at time T2 and time T1. Thus, we can simply say that the concentration of any of the substance per unit time during the chemical reaction is called as rate of reaction. Just consider this reaction. See here, it can be represented by this graph also. This is the concentration versus time graph. Now initially, when at time t is equal to 0, what was the concentration of the reactant, or what is the concentration of the reactant? It's this. I'll take some other color. The concentration of reactant is this. But as the reaction proceeds, what happens? The concentration of reactant decreases. And the reactant, say, is just a simple thing. Say if I have taken twice of HI, no, it's a reversible reaction. I can't take it here. See the reaction, twice of H2O2, that is hydrogen peroxide, decomposes or dissociates to give water plus oxygen. So what is happening here? With time, the concentration of H2O2 is decreasing and the concentration of water and oxygen is increasing. So this graph depicts this only. See the product concentration, initially it's 0 and it goes on increasing with time or as the reaction proceeds. Got it? Now for the reaction this A to B, how can rate be represented? It is rate is equal to minus of delta A by delta T, or rate is equal to delta B by delta T. Now what these square brackets indicate? Square brackets express the molar concentration. See, the molar concentration is expressed by square brackets. That is moles per liter. Or you can simply say the molarity. What is this delta? This triangle here? It represents the change. That is the concentration of A at time t2 minus the concentration of A at time t1. Now that is represented by delta A. And delta T, that is over the period of time. Now what is happening? A is the reactant, it is changing to product. That is, with time, the concentration, we have seen here, that with time, the concentration of reactant decreases. So that is why it is written as minus of delta A by delta T. And with time, the concentration of product increases. So it will be delta B by delta T. So that is why A is given the negative sign. That is a reactants, they are given the negative sign. Now as the concentration of A decreases during the time interval, delta A is a negative quantity, whereas the concentration of B increases with time. So delta B is the positive quantity. On the basis of rate of reactions, reactions are classified as the rate of reaction, the reactions are classified as instantaneous or very fast reaction. See, instantaneous means as soon as you are mixing the reactants, the reaction completes. That is the instantaneous reaction. Where it will happen? Say if I am taking covalent compounds like simply we can take any of the compounds like say PCl5 or the H2O2 reaction. These are what? Covalent compounds. Now when these will dissociate, or the dissociation of reaction of these compounds, will it be instantaneous? No. Because there are covalent bonds present over here, which are to be broken and new bonds are to be formed. But instantaneous means as soon as the reactants are mixed, the reaction completes. The chemical reactions which take place at once and the time required for the completion is approximately 10 to the power minus 14 to minus 16 seconds. That is very, very less, are also known as instantaneous reactions. So these reactions involve only ions, because see, between the ions there is a force of attraction, that is the electrostatic force of attraction. There is no such bond over there. There is no such overlapping of orbitals. There is just electrostatic force of attraction between the ions, which is to be broken down. So as soon as they are mixed in the aqueous solution, these ions, they dissociate and they combine to form new products. So remember, ionic reactions are instantaneous reactions and they take place in aqueous solution. Now there is another kind of reaction depending on the rate of reaction, that is the fast reaction and also the moderate reaction. That is which this is the fast reaction, another is a very slow reaction, that is which takes days to complete. Moderate reaction, which is in between these two. So let's discuss about the moderate reactions and the slow reactions. Very slow reactions, that is the reaction which take very long time for completion, or their half-lives are of the order of several years. Say for example carbon 12 or carbon 14. It is a radioactive isotope of carbon. Now, it takes some 5730 years, or 5370 years to complete, or to 5370, and it disintegrates to carbon 12. So it takes this many years to reduce the concentration to half of its initial value. So it's a very slow reaction. It is approximately, I'm saying, right? See, this reaction is a rusting reaction. That is, the rust is formed over here. So rusting is also a very slow reaction. You must have seen iron, when is exposed for the long time to atmosphere, it gets rusted. It's not that you'll expose iron now and it will get rusted within millions of seconds or within few seconds. It's not that. So it takes long time for iron to get rusted. Likewise, this is also a reaction where the complex is formed. So this is also a very slow reaction. Now students, there are reactions which proceed at moderate speeds, that is, whose rates can be measured. Say, if there are instantaneous reactions like the ionic reactions, how is the rate going to be measured? We can't measure the rate of the reaction, sorry. And in case of very slow reactions also, the rate is difficult. It is difficult to determine the rate. But in case of moderate reactions, we determine the rate of the reaction. Most of the molecular reactions, especially organic reactions, occur at measurable rate. Now here the covalent bonds are to be broken. The half-life of such reactions is of the order of minutes, hours, or days. Half-life means the time required to complete or to reduce the concentration of the reactant to half of its initial value. Right? Or the time in which half of the reactant is converted to product. So there is a reaction of ester with water, that is hydrolysis of ester, when acetic acid and ethanol is formed. Hydrolysis of sucrose in acidic medium, when glucose and fructose are formed. And this N2O5 dissociation, when nitrogen dioxide and oxygen are formed. So these are the moderate reactions. So when we talk of the rate of reaction, it is related to the rate of these moderate reactions whose rate can be easily measured. Not the instantaneous ones, that is the ionic reactions, nor the very slow reactions, that is a rusting. Now what is the rate of the reaction? The rate of chemical reaction is what? It is a change in molar concentration of the species taking part in the reaction per unit time. We have already discussed this. Now this rate, this can be the average rate or the instantaneous rate. Average rate, that is the change in concentration of the reactant in a span of time. And instantaneous rate means it is the change in concentration of the reactant involved in the reaction at a particular instant of time. So let's discuss about the average rate and the instantaneous rate. An instantaneous rate is the rate at some instant in time or some instant of time. That is, what is it? The infinitesimally small change in concentration, that is very, 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 very small, that occurs over infinitesimally short period of time. So that is why it is indicated by small d. The ratio of infinitesimally small change in concentration and infinitesimally short period of time is known as the instantaneous rate. That is a change in concentration that is very, very small change in concentration. In what? In very, very small time. Now how we'll measure this instantaneous rate? It's a very, very small, infinitesimally small change and infinitesimally small time. Instantaneous rate at time t is determined, first of all, by calculating the negative of the slope of the curve of concentration of reactant versus time at time t. See, this is the graph, right? This is the C2. C2 is the concentration at time 2. C1 is the concentration at time t1. Likewise, this is the concentration at time t. Now, rate instantaneous will be equal to dr by dt. That is, if we plot a tangent on this curve, we will get the instantaneous rate. That is, on the curve of concentration of reactants with time, if a tangent is plotted. Now this tangent, this gives the value of, or this particular thing gives the instantaneous rate. So how this instantaneous rate can be determined? By just taking the negative of the slope of the curve of concentration of reactant versus time at time t. This is any time t we have taken, and if you drop a tangent over the curve, we can calculate the instantaneous rate of reaction, and this is the negative one. Why so? Because it is, we are taking the change in concentration of the reactant. Now if I have to calculate the average rate, so the average rate will be the concentration at time t2 minus the concentration at time t1 divided by t2 minus t1. Now see the difference between the time. The difference between the time and instantaneous rate at any time t can be determined by just dropping a tangent on the curve. So this is the average rate, that is the change in concentration of the reactant between the two times. This can be at the difference of 1 minute, right, or 2 minutes, or more than that. And instantaneous rate at any time. If I'm just, now I want to, at this particular time, I want to calculate the rate of reaction of the dissociation of H2O2. So what I'll do, I'll just plot the concentration of the reactants versus the time, and at any time t, I can just drop a tangent. Say now I can just drop the tangent over that plot, and I'll get the instantaneous rate. Now how can this be calculated? This can also be calculated by dropping a tangent on the curve obtained by plotting concentration of products and time. That is a change in concentration of products with time. By calculating the slope of the curve of concentration of product versus time at time t. See, this is the time t. So if I'm dropping this tangent here, I'll get the instantaneous rate. And this is what? This is positive. Why positive? Because the product concentration is increasing. You can see here. And if I want the average rate, then it will be the concentration of product at time 2 minus the concentration of product at time t1 divided by t2 minus t1. So this is the average rate. And by dropping the tangent on the curve, I can get the instantaneous rate. So it is the rate of reaction at any moment of time is equal to the slope of a tangent drawn this curve at that moment. So this is the slope of the tangent. At any moment of time, the rate of reaction, remember this, the rate of reaction at any moment of time is equal to the slope of this tangent drawn on the curve. It can be the concentration of reactant versus the time curve, or concentration of products versus the time curve. So this is instantaneous rate of reaction. The average rate of reaction, we have calculated it, or we have discussed about this. What is it? Average rate is the rate of reaction measured between long time intervals. That is, as you can see in the plots. See, this is the average rate of reaction. That is a change in concentration of products between the two time intervals. This is the average rate. At any instant of time is the instantaneous rate. The concentration of reactant changes more rapidly in the beginning of the reaction than towards the end. At the end of the reaction, the reactants disappear. Obviously, in the beginning of the reaction, there is large amount of reactant available. So the concentration is high. If the concentration is high, the rate of the reaction will be faster, because large number of molecules are available which will undergo the collision or the effective collision and will form the products. So initially the rate of reaction is high, or the concentration of reactant changes more rapidly initially rather than in the later phase, when the concentration of reactants have been decreased. Now, how to find the rate of a reaction with the help of the equation? Every time you can't get a plot. Every time you can't get so many concentration terms and time and just plot a graph. We can calculate it by the reaction also, the equation also. If the change in concentration is given, you can just put the values in the equation and you can get. So I'll take an example here. The reaction rate is a quantity that defines how the concentration of reactant or product changes with time. Now let's consider this general reaction. A plus B gives C plus D. Now what is average rate of reaction equal to? It is the change in concentration upon the change in time. So here I can also write it as delta A minus of delta A by delta T, minus of delta B by delta T, plus of delta C by delta T, and plus of delta D by delta T. Plus is the sign over there. Now students, here we can see that the rate of production of C is equal to the rate of production of D. That is, one molecule of C is produced and one molecule of D is produced. Likewise, when one molecule of A is dissociated or one molecule of B is used up, we can say that one molecule of A and one molecule of B are used up. And what is produced is one molecule of C and one molecule of D. So the rate of disappearance of A will be equal to the rate of disappearance of B, because for every molecule of A, B is also disappearing. Now this will be equal to the rate of appearance of C, because for every molecule of A being disappeared or B being disappeared, one molecule of C is produced. And also one molecule of D is produced. That is, the rate of disappearance is equal to the rate of appearance of what? Rate of appearance of the products. Right? So this can be written as rate is equal to delta C by delta T, that is change in concentration of C per unit time, is equal to the change in concentration of D per unit time, is equal to the change or the disappearance of concentration of A per unit time and also the change in concentration of B per unit time. So if at all one of the values is given, that is if the rate of disappearance of B is given or the rate of change in concentration of B is given, we can find out the rate of change in concentration of C, D and A. Now let's write the rate equation for this reaction. That is, twice of N2O5 is giving 4NO2 plus oxygen. Right? Now in this reaction, what is happening? What is the rate of production? What is the rate of production of NO2? It's double. right? That is, NO2 is produced twice as fast as N2O5 is used up, and oxygen is produced half as fast as N2O5 is used up. Now if I am taking this reaction, taking this N2O5 as 1, so it will be what? NO2 is produced double, that is twice as fast as N2O5, twice as fast as the disappearance of N2O5, and oxygen is produced half as fast as the disappearance of N2O5. So this rate expression can be written as delta of, that is minus of delta N2O5 by T, that is the rate of decrease in concentration of N2O5, is equal to the rate of increase in the concentration of NO2, because this is doubled, so 2 is taken below. This is half of the decrease in concentration of N2O5. It is half, so 0.5 is taken below. So this is the rate expression for this equation. I hope you have understood this. I'll just show you the graph plotted for this equation or for this chemical reaction. See the plot over here. This is the concentration of what? N2O5. That is a reactant. This is time. Now see the disappearance of N2O5. Appearance of NO2. So it is just double the rate of production, you can say, or the rate of appearance of NO2 is twice the rate of disappearance of N2O5. Now if you take oxygen, so the rate of appearance is half the rate of disappearance of NO2. So this is just a plot. Now let's take another example. So what will be the rate expression here? I have given you this, and these are the rate of appearance and disappearances. So students, this is the way we can calculate the rate of the reaction and also the rate expression. So in general, for a hypothetical reaction, say AA plus BB gives CC plus DD. It will be minus of 1 by A by delta T. So whatever are the coefficients over here, you have to take it as 1 by. Is equal to minus of 1 by B by delta T is equal to 1 by C by delta T, right? And it will be 1 by D delta T by delta T. Delta D by delta T, right? So the sign over here will be delta. So this is how the rate expression for the rate of reaction can be written. So now students, this is all about this session, and in the next session we'll be discussing about the rate law. What is a rate law, right? And also the order of the reaction. So now I'll be concluding this session, students, and this was just an introductory session for the chemical kinetics. Just go through your text, students. Just go through this topic so that when you are listening to this session, it will be you're through with the concepts. That is, it will be easier for you to listen and understand the concepts if you have gone through this topic. So thank you, students, for listening to me patiently, and do have a nice time ahead.